If you feel like you are blessed with great potential, but somehow your day-to-day life doesn't quite reflect that, then this video is for you. If you feel like you've been blessed with the kind of potential that will resemble the engine of an exotic car like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, or Aston Martin, but somehow your day-to-day performance is the day-to-day performance of a regular car such as a Citroën or a Toyota, then this video is definitely for you. Alright? Dimitri here. Let's get right into it. I'm going to share with you only a couple of stories, and after that I'm going to attend to something really key I would like to share with you. First story, let's go to a place known as Ziln, somewhere in the country used to be known as Czechoslovakia, in a place where a group of people were actually working as factory workers. Amongst them was a young man who was called Emil. Emil, by all standards, looked like an ordinary boy as far as the workers are concerned. He himself looked at himself as a regular boy. He never saw anything extraordinary as far as his life was concerned. But somehow, his co-workers kept looking at him and seeing far beyond what Emil could see as far as his own potential was concerned. They saw that this young man was working there to make a living, but somehow it was designed, it was built for greater things than working for a factory. And then one day, the perfect opportunity presented itself. There was a race that was taking place not too far from the factory. So all the co-workers decided to now go put pressure on young Emil and say to Emil, "We have never done this before, but we believe that there is a race that's actually designed for you. You have to go enter this race." Emil said to them, "But I've never trained for any type of competition, and I don't see that there is any fit between what I do and where I'm going and this race." The co-worker said, "No, you have to actually enter the race." Eventually, Emil decided to enter the race and to see if his potential was truly up to the task, and if his co-workers were absolutely right as far as what they were seeing as far as his life was concerned. He entered the race, the 1500-meter race, and as soon as the gunshot went off and it was time to run, that he felt this surge of energy to now propel him onto the truck, and he started running like a madman, completely possessed, not paying attention to so much to what was happening around him. He ran so fast around the track that by the time it was time for them to get to the finish line, Emil was now close to the man in the lead, and he placed second in a race and for a competition that he had never participated in before. That was his first win. And from that point he said to himself, maybe after all this co-worker was seeing something that was right. So he started entering more competition and started attending more training in order for him to now perfect the gift that he started seeing within himself. But if you think this was the end of the story, I would simply say, no, that was only the beginning. 12 years later, in 1952, a place known as Helsinki, the Summer Olympics, the same young man was now officially entering the race for his country. But for this particular Summer Olympics, it was supposed to be only for two events, the 5,000 meters and the 10,000 meters. So the 5 kilometers and the 10 kilometers. Guess what? Emil entered these two races and won in a commanding manner. After the two races, after winning the gold for the two competitions, he said to himself, my goodness, I feel that there's still much more left in me. How about I enter a third event? They said to him, which event would you like to enter? He said, I would like now to enter the marathon. They said, you must be crazy. Emil started laughing to himself. He started laughing because he says, by this point, I believe that all things are indeed possible. He entered the race, and guess what happened? He also won the race. But he had never trained for that race before. He ran the 5 kilometers, the 10 kilometers, and the marathon within the same Summer Olympics. And some, of course, will say to me, Dimitri, these are the Olympics. These are basically things that happen basically in people's lives. So it's fantastic, but it doesn't really apply to me. Let me end with my own personal story. A few years ago, when I was actually born in Africa, I was surrounded by people who are actually doing very well when it comes to academics. But somehow, the young man that I was not really plugged in as far as academics are concerned. My parents were not paying too much attention to that. Until one day they realized that, yes, most of the children are going to this one particular school. And this young boy seemed to be the only one attending a different school. How about we put everyone in the same school? So when it comes to dropping them off and picking them up, it can be basically more streamlined as far as the process is concerned. So now it was now a matter of taking me, the young Dimitri, to this particular school to actually go for the test. And this is for grade 1 test. So I went there, and my madam said, but yeah, just give me a chance to enter the school. Why are you trying to test me? But of course they had to test me the same. So they gave me the paper, and amongst the questions, I still remember this question to this day, they were asking me to recognize some shapes, such as a triangle, a rectangle, a circle, and so on and so forth. At one point I simply said, no, I'm not doing this. Because I'm saying, how is it possible they're trying to measure my intelligence by simply trying to see if I can recognize the shapes? So if that's the case, I'm not doing this test. So I refused to do the test. My mom came to pick me up, and she was told that your son fell in a miserable way. So all the way as we were going home, she let me have it. She told me in no uncertain terms that, yes, Dimitri, you disappointed me. Dimitri, I can't believe you could even recognize a circle. What kind of nonsense is this? What's happening to you? I was just keeping quiet because my mom saying, but how is it possible that these people were trying to measure my intelligence by seeing if I could recognize the shape? What does the shape have to do with my ability to comprehend the text you're going to give me? So this was completely crazy. That was the first example. Second example. As was customary, as when it comes to family gatherings, every weekend when the family will get together, all the children will be presented with books to read, and everyone was actually reading phenomenally well. Except for one. You can imagine who that one was. So I won't go there and see all 10, 20 children just competing when it comes to reading, competing when it comes to eloquence, and so on and so forth. I was the only one just sitting there, just looking at it and refusing to touch a book. To the point where it was becoming like basically a grave concern for the family. But as everyone was actually becoming worried and concerned about my academic performance down the road, there was only one person in the family that kept his composure and knew exactly how I could see the potential in me when I couldn't even see my own potential. That was my grandfather. So what he would do is, he was in a French-speaking country. But what he would do is, he would bring his English magazines and lend them to me. Collector's items, say, please go read about this. And my madam said, but I can't even read in French properly. Why are you giving me this magazine, collector's items, to actually read? And plus, these magazines are about something that does not interest me at the time. It's about history. What does history have to do with me? I couldn't comprehend how this gentleman could see that one day I'll be interested in history. I said, go read this magazine. And guess what? He gave me the magazine and I lost them. My grandmother was beyond upset. She said, you see, I told you, this young boy could not read your magazine, and this young boy will lose your magazine. And now, what are we going to do? And he kept his composure and never said anything to me. At that point, I simply said, okay, by this time you understand I'm not into reading magazines, so he's going to basically let it go. Of course he did. But then something else happened One particular summer, we went to his place for the holidays, and as we got, I was about close to 9 years old. But at the time, he found out that his grandson could not ride the bicycle. That was the only time I saw him actively get involved. He said, that's unacceptable. Please find a bicycle for me. They found a bicycle for him. And he said, Dimitri, come here, jump on this bicycle. I said, I cannot actually maintain myself on this. He said, don't worry about it. He put me in the bicycle. He said, put your feet on the pedal. And he started pushing me. He said, keep going until I actually push you and let you go. And by that time, you're going to find the momentum and you have to maintain the equilibrium. This is going to just to come to naturally. I was scared, but I simply trusted him and he started running after me. At one point, he pushed me and released me, and I simply said to me, now go! I remember the joy I felt going down my spine. I said, my goodness, this gentleman really believed in me. He really believed I'm Superman. I was going, and how I managed to break and stop that bicycle, I don't know. But simply it gave me a sense of belief in myself that I never thought possible. Why am I sharing these two stories with you? My friend, I don't know where you are when it comes to your own belief as far as your own potential is concerned. But I know one key thing. Sometimes it's not just about how much you believe in yourself, but it's about the weight of the belief, the weight of the faith that others have in you. In the case of Emil Zatopek, it was the faith that all his co-workers put in him that caused him now to propel himself all the way to the top. In my own case, it was the love, it was the affection of this gentleman, my grandfather, that propelled me now to see that yes, there was indeed in me an engine that was simply asking for me to now push myself to see how fast and how far I could go. Why am I telling you these two stories? Is the icing on the cake. The gentleman that I used to call grandfather, at one point through a chance, a chance event, I found that he was not even my biological grandfather. But the amount of love, the amount of faith he had in me was completely unparalleled. And this is now where I want to conclude. So I don't know you personally. I may not be related to you by blood. I may not be related to you based on where you're coming from. But I simply want you to tell you one key thing. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe that the best as far as what you can produce hasn't been seen yet. I believe the best as far as your performance is concerned hasn't been heard yet. I believe that you yourself have not felt how fast and how far you could go when it comes to this track called life. But today I want to give you the wings of my faith to let you know that yes, you are indeed the unicorn that your field was looking for. You are indeed the Emil Zatopek that your field is actually been waiting for. You are the one person who's going to come and train for 2 events, and the day of your event, the last event, you're going to turn around and tell your organizer and simply say, is there anything else I can do? They're going to look at you with crazy eyes, but by the time you're going to enter that 3rd event, you're going to simply mesmerize everyone like Emil Zatopek did back in 1952. Alright? You are more capable of achieving all the great things that you believe are completely beyond your reach right now. All it would take is simply for you to close your eyes and to simply start seeing yourself through the eyes of the people that believe in you, and simply telling you, yes, you can do this. Yes, you got this. Yes, you got this. Yes, you got this. Stop looking at yourself through your own eyes. Start looking at yourself through the eyes of these people and see how slowly but surely the wings of their faith are going to take you all the way to the top. And by that time, you're simply going to mesmerize the world and mesmerize yourself, because you're now going to see how powerful the engine you've been carrying all along has been, and just waiting for you to start roaring. All right? Much love, everyone. Talk to you soon.